Welcome to 5 Star Weekly. This is madness. How are we doing this? We getting all that and more coming up. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to the show, 5 Star fam. I'm AJ, and this is Michael. And Atl Utd have advanced to be able to play Inter Miami and Lionel Messi. It's what a prize. But yes, we will get into the CF Montreal recap very soon, but shouts out to our loyal Patreon fam, and especially coming up very soon, because for our Patreon video chat, they will be joining us for the match preview. But Nick, Gavin, Drew, and as well as Niall, Chris, and Jordan, you guys are all freaking legends. But yes, let's get into this match review. And CF Montreal, Jose Martinez. We had to pretty much travel to a house of horrors, what it used to be anyway. And yeah, we look pretty good in the offset, or in the onset rather. And it, yeah, 2-0 lead going in. It's pretty good start, but it ultimately became 2-2. With Jose Martinez scoring a brace, and well, that we went into a penalty shootout, in which case Brad Guzan was able to do what he's never done outside of probably the past 2 years: save penalties. And I don't know what it is. Maybe there's different coaches within it. It doesn't seem so. It's the same goalkeeper coach, Liam Caron. So I don't know. I mean, it's something about it. Brad Guzan has been able to stand on his head this season in penalty shootouts, or just against penalties. But Michael, yeah, how did you see the match?
It was one of the most exciting matches I've had the pleasure of viewing as an Atlanta United fan. This was, I mean, it seems to be kind of the status quo going forward. But clenching the whole damn game, it is just so nerve-wracking watching these games. I don't know what it is. It appears to be that we have a modus operandi of going up early now, which, what? And then conceding late, which I guess we kind of do sometimes, and then somehow pulling it out again. I don't know how. I don't know what team this is who stole Atlanta United and replaced them with a different team, unbeknownst to us. Because this is definitely atypical. This is definitely not representative of what the season was, especially when it comes to results, stringing along 3 wins in a row. I mean, it's these things are unprecedented for this season, and I feel like almost since the end of last season, we haven't seen this type of tear Atlanta United has been capable of being on. This game in particular is just like, it typifies it, right? It almost as this, like it's putting its flag down, saying this is our new standard, that this is a team that's not going to die, not going to go away. They're just going to keep fighting, even if they don't deserve to be there, if they don't deserve, from their own play. What the other team has done to bury them may have been enough, but whatever, they just keep coming back. It doesn't matter, and they somehow pull it out. It's inexplicable. I mean, the fan bases alone that played against us must be in ruin with how we are playing these games. It's terrorist football. It's insane. I mean, I'm here for it because I'm so happy that it's for us. And for once, it's like we're on the good side of it and getting the benefits. But man, like, it's crazy seeing this happen to other teams. And just so happy it's not happening to us anymore. Yeah, this game typifies that. Like, just holding on for dear life, skinning your teeth the whole time. I don't know how we got up by 2, and convincingly as well. Our 2 goals were well worked and well done. Montreal's goals were gifts. We were able to hold them to long-range shots, like almost exclusively. I'm not quite sure. I guess we probably were looking at more of a low block in this game that kept them outside the box, and then they were happy to take their chances with long shots that didn't really result in anything. They weren't very threatening. Overall, Montreal wasn't very threatening at all. They didn't have too many shots or even good chances. We stopped most of everything. Credit to the defense for that, and the midfield for clogging things up. But our what was I going to say? For Montreal's attack, they have Joseph Martinez that wasn't able to convert from either like a set piece or run a play, which is something that we were worried that he would do. He would just find a way. Ultimately, he did. However, it wasn't the way that we thought he would. I mean, I kind of called him getting a penalty. He kind of did in this game, but he scored in just kind of other ways that are just basically atypical gifts, like very consistent Brad Guzan, like you mentioned this season, for some reason coughed up a fairly easy catch, or maybe it wasn't that easy. It appeared easy, but then again, I'm not a goalkeeper. We weren't there, so we don't know. But coughed it up. Joseph just happened to be right there. It's like you rolled it right to him, and boom, of course he's going to score that. Yeah, like it. I don't think Montreal really was. I mean, he did score a penalty, and then he scored one also on the penalty kicks later on. But like, I feel like none of these goals were really earned by them. I felt our goals were earned. You know, they were classic kind of counterattack, classic hit and run strategy. I mean, that speed of Brooks Lennon to put that header in, Jesus Christ, that was incredible.
I mean, and that one's 45 passes, so it's not really exactly terrorist football in that sense. But
No.
large in part, the other aspects of our play, yes, I agree. Yeah, have not exactly been protagonist football, but
No.
yeah, 45 passes in the build-up to Brooks Lennon's header where it's put on a plate by Pedro Amador. I mean,
Again, another one from him.
Beautiful, exactly. Like that man is not making us miss Caleb Wiley, and that's hard to do. It's really hard to do. But yeah, I mean, and it's this. It's like for some reason. We still, yes, we switch off, and it is that, some sort of error will lead to a goal, and it's something that we really desperately need to make sure we stamp out. Doesn't happen against Inter Miami because, yeah, that's, they don't need mistakes. They can do that without it, and yeah, it's definitely going to be a worry going into the next match, but I think it was a stroke of genius for Rob Valentino to start Ronald Hernandez and Brooks Lennon up top. It definitely helped in that regard of getting the first goal. It made us a little bit more defensive on the right wing, which I think he was trying to maybe target, maybe make sure that we were solid from the defensive standpoint. But yeah, it is that it's Jose Martinez. This is what he does. Like when he scores in bunches, and it's how many has he scored against us? Like 8 in the short time away from us. I mean, pretty much, yeah, kind of making a lot of people miss Jose Martinez and clamoring on I think on social media for him to return. But obviously that's something we can maybe dig into fully, but would you take Jose Martinez back at Atl Utd?
I mean, if it would, the stars would have to align. It would have to be him taking the exact right contract that would be beneficial to us and not be detrimental. It would have to be him not like being in an environment where it's very adversarial between the front office and the coaching staff and him. Things would have to be very peaceful. Hopefully that could happen again if it were to happen. And he would have to be, in my estimation, okay with being a secondary striker, and having a contract that kind of and a salary that is commensurate with that, which I'm not sure he would. So yeah, I'm not quite sure it would work, but again, if they were able to kind of hit on all of these specifics, it's a possibility.
Indeed, dude. Someone just hopped off in the backstage, so your camera's all messed up. Sorry to the people that are watching, but yes. Anyway, so as far as regulation time, unfortunately, it is 2-2. If you want some more in depth of this, you can hop over to our live stream after we watch the match, of course, to get more of that goodness. But as far as and I'm gonna try to fix this in the background here while so Michael is not gonna be able to be on screen for the moment, but anyway, so as far as into the penalty shootout, I mean, it's tough. We've never won a penalty shootout really, and especially I guess in MLS and MLS playoffs, we've won it in a U.S. Open Cup, but I don't know. I think it's a little bit different when it's against a lesser side. But Leagues Cup as well. We've just done really, really poorly in these, but somehow, some way, I mean, I think the perfect mix of, I think, penalty takers and Braguzan, like aforementioned, somehow doing the business, and it is kind of outrageous, like to believe that he actually saved a penalty when it mattered for us here. It is, I'm shocked. Just color me completely, absolutely shocked. But I'm still trying to fix your thing here, actually. This is gonna be a little bit of a haphazard episode here because there's so many people. Oh, here we go. Boom. We're back. Alrighty.
Yeah. So my two takes on the penalty is, I mean, what a moment to decide to go perfect in a penalty shootout for the first time. Like, that's incredible to me that we have such terrible penalty shootout performances that have just left the fan base so pessimistic whenever we get into those situations, and then all of a sudden we go perfect when we needed it the most. I did not. No, I mean, there were so many times going into this postseason and like even a little before where I was like, there's no way this happens, and then boom, it happens. It's incredible. Again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but like on the live show I said, it seems like we're making a habit of doing the impossible, and it's awesome.
Yeah, we're definitely bucking norms, and I thought, it was smart to have Dax McCarty take the first penalty. It was kind of that veteran presence. He's been very calm. He has taken every penalty with aplomb that he's taken for us anyway. And I mean, it's we had fewer defenders take penalties, which I think usually bodes well too. I mean, it's I think that's usually part of the magic. I think is, unless you're talking about Sergio Ramos or Marcelo or like whoever else that can take penalties as a defender, but generally it's not the case. So but yeah, I mean, every person that took the penalty, I mean, just either sent the keeper the wrong way, or did well enough, I think, to get it past them. And Saba celebrates with Braguzan in his arms, and you do see kind of the afterward Jose Martinez and Braguzan, who jawed a little bit during the match after the penalty. But I'm not really sure what was said. Like, what do you think maybe was exchanged in that little bit of a altercation, if we could call it that?
I honestly don't know. My guess would be something like, how brothers get heated, in like a play fight. I feel like it might be something like that, where because both players like to probably banter. They probably gave each other a bit of the business. That's what I would like to think, because obviously after the game they embrace, so it's not like there was any hard feelings. So yeah, I think there's nothing deep there.
Right. And I think that's a cuddle always solves everything, right? So that's the beauty of it. But yeah, so we are able to advance, and it's just I think for Atl United, for Rob Valentino as well. I think this quote is hilarious to me. He said, "I'm happy that we created some chances, but in all honesty, we should have put the game away." Yes, agreed there. But he said also, "I'm happy we're moving on. I'll enjoy this and be grumpy later." So I like that. I like that a lot. That he recognizes the flaws in the match. That it wasn't a perfect match. It never is. But there are so many things to still adjust and improve on in order for us to make a deep magical playoff run, in which case, I mean, we're at the start of it, and it very well could, you never know. But yeah, it's never by being complacent. It's never by being, resting on your laurels. In which case, it doesn't seem like Valentino is, and absolutely love that. But we'll talk about how people are perceiving Rob Valentino right now in a later part of this episode. But let's wrap this baby up. We've gone on too long already. The game is tomorrow. There's just not enough time. It's just the games are thick.
Yeah, these games are coming. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like all the players are feeling. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, everyone talks about how all the players have to go through all this congestion. What about the commentators? No one talks about us.
What about the fans? Like it's hard for everyone, I would imagine, to be able to pay attention to all of that every 3 days. I mean,
yeah, woe is us.
Yeah, but anyway, so let's get into the news. And yes, Tom Bogert, he rumored that Atlanta United had rebuffed interest from Philadelphia Union's Jim Curtin. And yeah, that is obviously incredibly intriguing. The man that obviously slated Atlanta United's fans for, possibly being the most pedestrian in MLS. And
I think he used a different P word.
He did. I'm being kind to what he's saying here, but did also suggest that they should check the driver's licenses of the fans as well. But and he called us college football fans, which to be fair, some people backstage right now are watching college football, but
there's overlap.
But from a non-college football fan, I'm pointing at myself, I think it's this. Like Jim Curtin, yeah, good riddance. You never were here anyway, but who cares? But Jim Curtin, what do you feel about his rebuffed interest? Apparently,
I'm kind of annoyed it came out publicly at all, because I don't want to have any association with him. I don't really like him as a coach. I mean, as a person rather. As a coach, I mean, he's a fine coach. I see why. If he was approached, why he would be. He checks a lot of boxes, but I mean, just personality-wise and the way, like the history that he has with our city, I just don't feel like it would be very good. It's just that would kind of rub me the wrong way. So I'm glad that it ended up not going that direction. It's also just more fun to have a villain, to pursue. So I'd rather he stay there and us stay here.
Yeah, I mean, we'll speak about Garth Lagerwey and maybe what that choice was to possibly reach out to Jim Curtin. But for me, this is, I mean, it's not maybe the equivalent, but it's like drink, everybody. I'm about to talk about Arsenal. Yeah, it's like this. It's like if Jose Mourinho ever coached Arsenal. It's maybe not that bad, but it's almost on that level where, yeah, like you're talking about the coach that cursed you guys, that slated everything about your club, and yeah, you're gonna try to hire him. Like, yeah, the optics here, not great. The self-awareness here also not fantastic, and yeah, I think Garth Lagerwey missed a bullet here from the fans, I would say, by this not happening. But I think that's really where it comes from. I think as well is that if he had made that hire, I don't even know how many Atlanta United fans would be up in arms. It would be a large majority, and they'd be calling for Garth Lagerwey's head. What do you think?
I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if it would get that extreme, but I think there would be a lot of unhappiness, and I mean, people would adjust probably over time, but it would probably take a little while, and a guy like that would have to win fast and a lot for us to forget about a lot of those things, and I don't really see it even being possible. So Because I mean, and not even talking about like his manner of play too, because like, you know, Philadelphia plays some of the ugliest soccer in the league, so I'd prefer not to play like that either.
Yeah, I mean, they're very pragmatic. They play smart. We'll give them that. But yeah, it is. I wouldn't exactly call that protagonist football. I wouldn't call that something that I would.
Well, it's just all the flopping they do and all the dark arts. I just don't. We've never been that kind of team, and I don't really like that. So.
But yeah, they do generally get some good results throughout their seasons, except for this year, because we were able to knock them out in that sense of getting the last playoff spot. Haha. But anyway, so let's move on to the news that the Athletic broke, that there is a rumor that MLS is considering changing to a fall-spring calendar, aligning with the Premier League and other European leagues for their schedules. And Paul Tenorio, he kind of went into how the schedule might look like in terms of adjusting it for, I believe it was before the 2026 World Cup, of course. And I think the seasons and how they would adjust would be kind of crazy, but I think they're I guess putting the importance on the playoffs, and that important bit is like the most valuable bit of real estate for them, because obviously it's very unique to MLS, and it's possibly going to be, if it would be in the summer, in which case, yeah, there's not a lot of other sports that are playing. Obviously football isn't playing at that point, right at that like around May or June, where it could possibly end up. And lots of moments to be able to take advantage of empty stadiums and all that. But I think it's also, there's trade-offs. Obviously, it might have to be a very elongated season. Where does Leagues Cup go? Where does, kind of, I guess, that year that it's leading up to it, what's the training grounds like for some of the clubs that have set up their infrastructure to essentially be more for the warmer months? And it's going to be a little bit more of an onus on, you're going to have to train out in some cold ass weather. I mean, there's a lot of money that has to be kind of figured out for the foundation of how clubs operate. But what's your opinion, kind of hearing just a bit of that? I'll start by saying this is a very complicated topic. I think there's a lot of different ways to look at it, a lot of pros and cons on both sides, and I am by no means an expert in this, so I don't have a very strong opinion either one way or the other, but I do know just off the top of my head, it very much affords you a better ability to participate in the transfer windows, which has historically hindered MLS significantly. So, I mean, that is a very, very powerful pro in this conversation. But there's a lot of cons that some which you've talked about and some we probably don't even know about. And it's just, I feel like this is a thing you could write like essays on. So, and lawyers I'm sure will. So who knows how far it goes in the future, if it gets any real legs. We'll talk about it in more detail probably in the future. But I mean, man, like that's a pretty big change. For sure. And I think it's that too. Your point about, the transfer windows being more optimized for us, for every team in MLS. I think that is one of the biggest parts, because in order to compete in the world market, you also need to have a structure like the world market. Otherwise, you're going to be that kind of anomaly that's we already are, at times, very much the kind of like, oh, MLS, the retirement league, the, all that, inferior play, blah, 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 like all the things that MLS gets ragged on. But yeah, once you start to be able to attract them, because, well, yeah, money will talk, and we're going to be one of the richest leagues, if not, we're already quite there as far as every club could essentially pay whatever they wanted and bring in whoever they want, and it won't really go against the salary cap. It's it's already at that kind of level, but it's the players from 4 to 11. Like, if we can fill out those players with some just top talent from the best leagues around the world, then it starts to become a whole different conversation. So I think it's a good I guess thought experiment for right now of what they're trying to figure out, and it's probably no doubt leaked because they want to see what the reaction is like a little bit as well with the public. So
maybe, yeah.
It's definitely all part of it in their decision making. Anyway, that gets us from the news to the mailbag, and you guys send in these questions through IG story, and please continue to do so, and we might answer your questions in the future. Also Discord as well. But last episode, Submachine OP asked about Rob Valentino if he should be offered the permanent job. There was a lot of kind of subsequent questions that kind of came from that, and one of them was Grego, who asked, if we don't already have the replacement set, I'd be open to considering Rob Valentino if we made it to the ECF, but it still wouldn't be a sure thing. It would only increase the slim chances he could get it. A lot of that would depend on how we plan to build the roster going forward with the next technical director as well. But Michael, would you want Rob Valentino to be offered the permanent job?
Blanket answer, no. But there could be a universe where it makes sense. So I'm not saying that it's 100% no, but I think that universe is very difficult to get to. So I don't think we're there yet, or even kind of knocking on the door. I think Rob's going to have to win either get to the Eastern Conference Final or MLS Cup to truly be a contender for next year. Anything short of that, I think we just keep marching along looking for another coach. I think that's just probably what's going to happen. I mean, and it sucks too, because it's like we can't reward him in like a second place type way. I mean, I guess we technically could if we say like, well, here you can also be the assistant coach of the new coach. But like, if he doesn't want that, it's, if he wants to move on, because I mean, he's had a lot of first team coaching experience now over his time as being the assistant coach. So it wouldn't surprise me if he got an offer somewhere and then decided to be the first team coach there, and the head coach. So I wouldn't be surprised of that, and I wouldn't be bothered by it. I honestly think he deserves it. I think he's almost there. That's his aspiration. I think he's just about there, and this playoff run, if it goes well, might actually be the thing that puts him over the hump, and he can get that. And I'm all for that. I'm all for him doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I share most of your sentiments, and it is, I think, a great point that he doesn't really have a way to kind of be rewarded, especially after this season. It's basically like, okay, if he gets the job, obviously that's the reward. But if he doesn't, I mean, having an assistant coach job with, say it's Patrick Vieira, it's like, will he want that? I mean, that's not exactly, the reward. And it's also, okay, now you're the academy director or something. Like, I mean, does he want to do that? That's not really, possibly a route that he wants to go either. It might be that, he might catch on as a head coach for a USL side, for an MLS side. Who knows? But, that maybe is the reward. And, it does really put it in kind of a tough situation in the sense of, how I guess you placate the, the whole situation. But Submachine OP asked another question. Might get smoked for this, but I think upsetting Miami twice in the first round by itself is enough of an accomplishment to fully justify, not for sure hire, but justify a decision to keep him for stability. Rarely will an interim coach that usually works other departments actually is good in the role. Once in a lifetime, not many other head coaches would take Atlanta that far. What do you think about those comments?
I mean, he's probably right, but like I still just, it's still just such a mountain to climb to compare yourself, because it's, you know, you have to also understand who he's going up against. Like if he's in the contention for the head coaching job, which he is, and if let's say he wins MLS Cup, that's great, and he's, you know, solidified himself and gives stability to the team if he continues on, like he said. But I mean, you're still going up against like potentially Patrick, you know, like Vieira, or even another high-profile coach, someone even who's like maybe like won things, done things, has a heck of a lot of experience, and is undoubtedly a wonderful candidate. So it's not as if like just because he's done that he's guaranteed. Like he alluded to, he concedes that point, but it's just that you're competing against. Let's not forget like what the other side of the coin is. So again, it's just I wish we could give him like a second place thing if he ends up not, you know, going all the way, because what he's done is astounding. And if it goes even further, it's even more astounding. So I just wish, you know, we could do something like that. It's incredible. So I honestly really, really, really wish we could see him being, you know, like a head coach at another club, hopefully MLS level, if not, you know, USL, and then a year or so, and then maybe MLS again. But I just think he deserves it. I think he deserves that shot. I just think Atlanta, being quote unquote premier, trying to be the premier team in the league, you need high profile in your office. So that's just kind of the way I will see it.
Right, and I think the way I see it with this is that if he wins MLS Cup, he gets the permanent job.
Yeah.
Anything else, unfortunately, I don't think he does.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part, I think, about it. But I think, like, how else? I mean, it's like basically, okay, yeah, you know, he got into the Eastern Conference Finals, if that was the case. It would be, I mean, is it good enough? Is it good enough to what the fans want? Is it good enough to what the front office wants? I mean, it's a miracle run if we get that far, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think
we also can't forget, like, the entire time Rob has been with us, and also, you know, all the misery we've had over the last like 5 or so years, he was part of that crew. Yeah. You know, and so I mean, who know? Like, we can't just be like, okay, the very end of the story ended well, but the vast majority of it, like statistically speaking, was not very good. You really have to look at it on the whole, and I think that's probably what, you know, cooler heads will prevail with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is part of it. I also wonder if that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but I mean, yeah, it's part of it. It's a larger conversation, and we surely just do not have enough time to go all in on that conversation right now. But yeah, so that does it for the mailbag, and thank you guys for sending in those questions in Discord and IG story. We will move on to our match preview and bring on our Patreon guests here while I try to click buttons at the same time. Oh my god, doesn't work. Yes, it does. Hey, everybody's on the screen. So, yes,
all right,
we have got our lovely Patreon members here. Nick, Drew, Gavin. Yeah, we'll go kind of a little order. Nick, you know, just say hi and, you know, how your night has been.
How my night has been? It's been pretty good, you know. I'm in nervous anticipation of what's going to happen next, you know, because we are riding a wave right now. Yes, since decision day, and I'm here for it. I'm really here for it.
Hell yes. Drew, yes. How are you? How's your night going?
It's going pretty good. I'm just waiting for tomorrow night, just waiting and hoping and seeing what we can do, just hoping and praying at this point.
Indeed. Gavin, let us know how your night's going.
Yeah, what they all said. I'm here for it. I'm very glad to be here. I'm ready for tomorrow night. Hoping and praying we can do what people don't think we can do, but we did that the last couple of matches. Hopefully we can do that again.
Indeed.
And yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Lovely to have you all. Yeah, Gavin, wait till you hear the odds for us in this match. But yes, indeed. So let's get into this match preview then. Yeah, it will be 8:30 p.m. on Friday. One of the weirdest times that we played for sure. I don't remember a late Friday match ever, really, unless it's on the West Coast. But yeah, Chase Stadium, Inter Miami, Lionel Messi, Sergio Busquets, Luis Suarez, Jordi Alba, Julian Gressel, Tata Martino, all these names that are pretty familiar for Atlanta United fans and football fans in general. And yes, we have the toughest task in the MLS playoffs. As the lowest seed, we have to go through the GOAT, and beyond that, all of the other teams that have played us tough, but, you know, we've also played the other teams tough. And, well, it'll be 9th versus 1st in the East. The last match for Inter Miami was a 6-2 win versus Rev, so they are in hot form as well. On decision day, they took care of business. Our previous match against them, though, we drew 2-2. We probably should have won it, but that was September 19th, 2024, obviously. And in our last 6, we've won 3. They've won 2, and we've drawn 1. And so, yeah, we've won 50% of the matches in our last 6. So, you know, if someone's the boogeyman for Inter Miami, surely it's us. We've been the one team that Lionel Messi has lost to this season in 2024. So, you know, it's definitely very, very interesting stuff. And yeah, this will be the first of a best of 3. And next Saturday is the home match at the Benz, of course. And yeah, you know, the 3rd game, November 9th, if necessary. But who would have thunk? I mean, Nick, would you have thought that we would be playing possibly, and we are going to, in November in 2024? I mean, just kind of inexplicable, but...
If I may say 2 words and be bold about it, hell no. No, if you had went back to me in August and September and said, hey, we're going to be playing Lionel Messi and all in Inter Miami again in the playoffs, I would have said, what drugs did you take and when did you take them and can I have some of them?
Because that's some good shit. But yes, indeed. Because yeah, if it was like this, if it was the match before, or yeah, just like this time before the September 19th match against Inter Miami, where, you know, I think it's solidified a little bit more that, yeah, we're the Baba Yaga against, you know, Inter Miami a little bit. But yeah, I mean, for this, it's like, you know, I think mindset going in, Drew, do you feel like Atlanta United have an edge in this this matchup, or do you still feel like Lionel Messi, it's written in the cards, they're going to win MLS Cup?
I think it's a lot more even than a lot of people believe. With how well we have done against Miami, I have a feeling we're slightly in their heads. And that gives us a little bit of an edge with what we can do. We can kind of make up for that skill gap because they're going to be trying to outplay us, even though they don't need to overthink their game plan and stuff like that. I think Miami, if they were just to play their game, yeah, they'd probably beat us. It might be a close series, but they beat us. But with how we have been playing against them, I think they might overthink this.
Mm-hmm. And Tata Martino has been known to overthink some things throughout his history in coaching. So, you know, it's not outside of the realm of possibility. And it was that. Against us, he brought on Luis Suarez and Lionel Messi at a time where it changed the match in a bad way for them because essentially it gave us all the time and space in midfield to do whatever we wanted and hit them on the counter. And, you know, like if Tata Martino wants to have a little brain fart again like that, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're all here for that. But I mean, yeah, for you, Gavin, as far as kind of what we need to do defensively, like, is it just, you know, foul the crap out of Messi or at least crowd him out, you know, double mark him, triple mark him, and then just hope that the other guys don't kill you? What do you feel like Atl Utd should do in order to really nullify, you know, the talents, the otherworldly talents that we're up against?
Depends on the situation you're in. It depends on how the match starts. Like, at start, it's like, you need to remember, Lionel Messi, the best player in the world. So, I don't see the entire match there going to be one person on him. There's probably going to be more than one person on him because he can pull magic out of his hat anytime he wants to. He'll just stand on the pitch. He can stay on the pitch the entire match. He can just stand still. He doesn't have to defend. He doesn't have to attack. Every time he'll attack, he'll score, he'll do whatever he wants, whenever he wants to, at the right moment. So, at the same time, when he does attack, we definitely have to cover him. Don't let him shoot, because there was one time where we did let him shoot, and I believe May, or correct me if I'm wrong, but when we beat them, there was one where we actually let him shoot and he scored, and that's what he does. That's what he's been doing all his career, and that's what lots of players do. Not just Messi, but you need to remember he's the best player in all sports, all of soccer, all of football. Like, we have a good defense. We need, it all depends if we start off good, like how we did against Montreal, Orlando. Like, it'd be great to start off well again, but then that would probably make Miami attack more, because now you'll be more aware of what they're going to do, what you practiced for. So then you execute that plan, and then it could work well. And just give gifts, because like I said on the post-game stream, we have given many gifts to teams and got them back in the game. The turning point of the season was the Philadelphia match. Put them back in the game, and they stole a point that they shouldn't have. And Montreal almost took our season because we gifted them 2 goals, and Jose Martinez couldn't have had those goals. And for the team that we're going to give gifts to, it's not Miami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it ain't Christmas yet, and so yeah, nothing needs to happen as far as presents, guys. But yes, you know, as far as you know, for what we need to do, Michael, as far as attacking wise, I mean, obviously, we've been playing, as you've termed, terrorist football, and you know, it is that when we get a chance, we need to put it away, and we need to torpedo Inter Miami's chances of completely any, you know, getting a foothold into this game. But how do you feel we should go about that?
I mean, you said offense, but I'm going to start. I think the way we play this game starts with the defense. So I think that if you have, I mean, our defense I think is pretty good, because we've learned that Pedro will play, so we can rely on him being there. But I mean, with our center backs, they're doing very well, and I'm not saying we just do a low block, because I don't know if that's going to be very effective against a team like that. I think perhaps what we do is like a mid to low, more of a mid block, and try and snuff out any kind of playmaking that may occur from their top players, and dare them to try and hurt us on like kind of long balls and speedy stuff, because I don't think they have those legs. I don't think they have those players in abundance, not like we do. And so what I think is once they try those things, it creates gaps, it creates space, and we can take advantage of that, and then we can hit them on a counter, which I still think we should do. Even though if we're not doing a low block, I still think at the end of the day, we're going to send our guys running, and I think we'll be able to catch them once or twice. Now, can we convert? I don't know. We have in the last couple games. Hopefully it keeps going. I don't know what's the secret sauce that has allowed us to just be more, you know, more clinical, but it's been working. And it's weird because we've been doing it so much that we've even been missing obvious, easy goals, and we're still winning. So that's pretty like bodes a lot of confidence for me that like we can afford to miss like we've created enough chances that we can miss one or two and we can still win, which is really good. So hopefully we can do that again. And like I said, it has a lot to do with shutting down the midfield. Don't let their playmakers make plays. Just stifle them. Make it just frustrating to play against. And then, towards also, it could be a strategy of just, I know we want to hurt them in the beginning to set the tone of the game, create a game state that's favorable to us. But that may not be in the cards. Hopefully it is, but if it isn't, then we kind of have to adjust a bit. And we might have to hold our fire for a little bit until we wait until, like I remember we saw the last game where Messi and Suarez just didn't want to run anymore. And that created a heck of a lot of space in midfield. And we gobbled it up because we still had energy. So maybe we hold our fire until a situation like that towards more the end of the game, which I imagine now in this game, they're going to play their top quality pieces from the get-go until they sub them off, if they sub them off. Versus what they did in that other game. So they're going to get tired. So I think that's when we hurt them if we hadn't been able to hurt them in the beginning, early on, which again is just like, I don't know how we've been lucky in doing it or good in doing it. And I don't know if it's repeatable. It has been the last couple games, but this is a different team. I still think the belief is there. The FEA belief is still there, I hope, in this team. And so hopefully they can get it done early on, and then it sets the tone and it makes Miami play and come out and play. And then we can kind of play the way we want against them and really terrorize them. But it's just what like you guys alluded to. Though Messi can just turn a game around if he just, Drew says if he wants to. It's just, if he gets enough chances, he's gonna do it. It's just gonna happen. So you gotta limit it. Like what they say is what's the plan for beating Messi? Is that you don't plan to beat Messi. You plan to mitigate him as best you can.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think you all make some very salient points, and I think that the mid block is the route to go for sure. We have Stian Gregerson, who is that safety valve that can pretty much chase down most of the players on the pitch and allows us to play higher. And I think, if we can condense that space, make it really difficult for Sergio Busquets to dictate this game and get the ball to Lionel Messi, it definitely will make it harder for them. There is this, though. I think they're going to miss a trick here if they start Luis Suarez, because the legs are just clearly not there for 90 minutes. And Campana, I think when he was starting against us, it actually was more dangerous. It was a more dangerous Inter Miami against us because of the threat of the pace in behind, and his ability to be on the last man and be able to basically take advantage of the space in behind us. And I think for us, it is that like we do need to pretty much send it long every single time that we can, that we can find the space in behind, because there will be space, and we need to finish off these chances. It's as simple as that. We need to score first. How many times has it gone right for us when we've scored first? It pretty much has been the exact opposite of when we've not scored. So it's not great for us to maybe wait in the wings, all that. I think we do need to be a bit aggressive early on, and then if we can't, sit back a little bit, grow into the match. But it is this. Just
hold on for dear life.
Right, indeed. But these match facts are going to read for some pretty grim reading here. So Inter Miami have seen over 2.5 goals in their last 5 matches against Atl Utd in all competitions. So there's always been goals. Inter Miami are undefeated in their last 11 matches in MLS. Does it get more daunting? Okay, we can. There have been over 2.5 goals scored in 6 of Atlanta United's last 7 games. So also we're in a decent run of form. But those odds, according to Bet365, it's 72.5% chance that Inter Miami is going to win. 19% for a draw, and 14.3% for Atlanta United to win. It's better than 10% for the chances of us making the playoffs, but 4%. Not fantastic, but it is there's a chance. There's if we're talking about Dumb and Dumber, Jim Carrey, you're telling me there's a chance, and you know what? It's better than our playoff odds. So hey, we'll take them. We'll take them clearly, but everyone's nodding in agreement. So I think there is a bit of that. The people that are unavailable for Inter Miami, it's a lot. This is quite a bit actually. Facundo Farias, Nicolas Ferrer, Leo Alfonso, Lawson Sunderland, CJ Dos Santos, David Martinez is questionable with a right adductor strain. Ian Frey is questionable. David Ruiz is out with a right hamstring strain. So they have a lot of players that are out. Obviously, they're more or less a top-heavy team, and some other players that can contribute as well. But I mean, that's like 8 players that they could have for this as well. I mean, we only have Edwin Mosquera and Quentin Westberg out. Obviously, Mosquera off the bench is a big miss, as he was super helpful against Inter Miami. But it is this. I mean, we do have Silva healthy, so he can come off the bench. Wolf has been coming off the bench. And the most important, I think, of all for this match and this whole series is Pedro Amador is able to play it like Michael alluded to. But let's get into the predicted starting 11. We'll go through the lines together. 5 at the same time is also unprecedented on 5 Stripe Weekly, but we're gonna do it together here. And obviously, hello, attack of the microphone. Between the sticks, that's obvious. That's the most obvious, probably. Everyone in unison. Guzan.
Lose.
Guzan.
Yeah, there we go. Indeed. But this is where it might get, a little divergent for everybody. Who knows? Because I think the center back pair, if you're going to go with the 4-man back line, that is obvious. But who is not going to go with a 4-man back line here?
Not me.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
No one? Okay. All right.
No.
So everyone with a 4-man back line. So Gregerson and Williams, center back pair for everybody. Yep.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Left back, obviously, Pedro Amador. Everyone in unison there? Okay.
Yep.
Who wants to go with the same lineup, at least with Ronald Hernandez at right back, like the last match?
Yes.
I noted in the beginning of the chat for the last match when they moved Lennon up out the back and moved him into the center. At least that's why I thought. That's where I thought they put him. That was a chess move that seemed to work.
Yeah.
And I noted that, and I hope that Valentino does that again, because that seemed to work.
Yeah, it definitely a little chaos, and as well, I mean, that was a center forward type of goal. I mean, he came on to that really well, headed it back where it came from. I mean, just well taken, really. But
my only concern about that though is, like Nick said, it seemed to work.
Yeah.
Like it worked, but is it a repeatable thing? Is what worries me. That to me does not look like a standard Brooks Lennon goal that we can expect to see often. So it worries me that we might think that, it worked this time, let's try it again. Because what I think also we're forgetting is that Sabalov Janisse did not score. Does that mean when he's now on the left that he's kind of diminished? Like his abilities are slightly diminished? He's maybe not able to score as readily as he would be if he was on the right. Would he do more if he was on the right versus Brooks Lennon being there? I don't know. But I do know that Brooks affords us a certain amount of not to the byline, but just running in to the box that we haven't seen before. And that is something I really, really am. I mean, they said they practice back post runs, which for Christ's sake, finally. And luckily Brooks Lennon was paying attention in that section. So that was, I mean, if that's what is going to take for us to get to the back post for these, when Saba can put a nice cross in or something from the left, oh, okay, then I think we can run it again. We can keep, I guess we keep running until it doesn't work. But like I said, I worry that we might put too much faith in it, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. So anybody else that has Hernandez as the right back? Drew.
Yep.
Heard you know.
I was
that.
gonna say.
But we also need to remember. Sorry, you can go ahead.
I was gonna say. I think putting Lennon up top is probably our best bet. This is the type of game that I wish Mosquera was healthy, because with his ability and his pace to stretch a back line, especially like Messi's or like with Miami's, their center backs aren't that fast. They get caught out, and if you can use speed to your advantage and get behind them, it becomes they are not good at turning and running towards goal. So somebody like Lennon that does have that sort of pace, along with Saba, those two running at a back line like that, it's a threat. And that's why I do like Hernandez going in that position right now. If it doesn't work to plan game 1, we go back to normal setup in game 2 and go from there.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that for a second, like what you said about, because I'm thinking you got Gressel trying to be on the right. If he has any defensive duties required of him this game, and Saba's the one he's got to keep mark on at any point in time, that's going to exhaust him. Keeping up with Saba is going to exhaust anyone. So that would be great to have him exhausted, so he's not putting in cross after amazing cross. So that could also be a very good aspect to this.
Right, and it's going to be a good question how they're going to set up, because will they maybe kind of do a Suarez Messi up top in a striker duo, and then play wing backs, and then which Julian Gressel, his responsibility is much less at that point, but still is. Yeah, if Saba's running at him, well, yeah, he still will have to defend a little bit. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie, like Saba versus Gressel, I like my chances. I mean, Gressel, not known for his defensive prowess, but it is that.
And we exposed him one of the previous games too.
We did. And so it is that, like, there is still, the danger of him from being able to provide service from deep, which is something he's, world class in this league for sure. And I think that's a very, very tasty matchup. But Gavin, yeah, you were about to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna note that this is not one match. This is a series.
Yep.
So we'll learn what we'll need to learn. Like, this could work. At the same time, there are concerns because, like Mike said, Lennon scored, but not in a way we usually see him score. And in fact, it was his first shot on target this season, which makes things interesting. And it was a goal. It was a header goal. We never really see Lennon score that way. In fact, we never really usually see Lennon score. But
it was his first goal.
I don't.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, first goal of the season in the playoffs. If we see him score, it's like it could be a strike. It could be. It's mainly going to be from his foot. We never really see him off the head, but it's not. I don't think Saba's going to be a dumb. I think Saba's still gonna. He can still score goals, and I mean, he scored a banger against Miami earlier this season. So, I mean, I don't think he's just going to be non-existent. I think there's a player that's non-existent, possibly. Like how we've seen so far, probably be Moranchuk. He's more likely to be non-existent than Saba, I would say.
That's painful, but yeah, I mean, he's not been as impactful as I would have hoped he'd be so far. So hopefully he shows up big for this one.
It is that, and we'll get to him in his spot for sure. But yeah, Lennon versus Hernandez, it definitely is going to be interesting who starts. I have the question of how long can Pedro Amador go, especially with the injury that he did have, the extent of what that truly was unknown. But also, yeah, for all your troubles in getting back healthy, here's Lionel Messi. It's, for 90 minutes, I mean, it's a lot. I think we might need the likes of a Ronaldo Hernandez as energy off of the bench to at least spell for some minutes. So I don't know. I think it's more of that, fresh legs to be able to counteract 90-plus full minutes of Lionel Messi. So, I don't think Edwards is quite ready for that quite yet. So I would stick with Lennon at right back. But let's get into midfield. And the midfield that has started has been Schlich and Fortune. Anybody going against that?
No.
I mean,
ever the contrary. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I mean, Moyamba historically has hassled the heck out of Messi in the midfield in the past. So, like, while he's also like a yellow card machine, he's also fresh legs. Whereas Jay Fortune has been running himself ragged. So it's potentially possible that because of his history against Messi, Moyamba might get a start over Jay. But I mean, Jay's just done so well lately, though. It's tough to say no. But I mean, it really, I guess he's got to be checked in terms of his, his fitness going into this. What can he do? He's young, maybe he can do it, maybe he can handle it. But yeah, I mean, that's just the only thing I would say about it. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Moyamba start, though. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think they've been hooked for minutes management in the past match as well and previous matches. So I don't think they're exactly in the red zone quite yet. If they are kind of hitting that territory.
He looked so tired last game.
I mean, he did, but I think it's also
yeah, he's young. He'll be fine.
Exactly. I think there's it's like Santiago Sosa. Like that man, 5 minutes in, looks absolutely exhausted. But whether he's actually that or it's just he's a sweaty dude. And the sweatband that he now has at Rossing has done him wonders. He looks incredibly less sweaty, and now people aren't like, oh man, that dude should be hooked right now because he just looks like he's off of it. But yeah, it's
he's taken the Roger Federer approach to sports.
Yeah, indeed. So, I think that sometimes has a part to play in it, but anyway, yeah. As far as the number 10 spot, that much is obvious. Moranchuk, I think for everybody, CCC. Yep.
Lexi Moranchuk.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so it's really just if he actually shows up or not. So that's he's in the 11.
Well, I mean, but what's nice is that even when he doesn't show up, he's still silently conducts himself in such a way where it makes it difficult for the other team, which is great. But you expect even more than that. So that's what I'm hoping to see. But I mean, yeah, I mean, even with his quote unquote invisible performances, we still have been winning. So I mean, for that, take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe there's some psychological edge in that, that he doesn't tip his hand. He's poker faced, and that's good and bad in a way. I mean, it's good. It's bad for the opponent, but is it bad for your teammates? You kind of get where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
And it definitely is that. I mean, I get you on that, and it is Moranchuk scored against Inter Miami, so he is in their minds for sure. Especially
A lot so.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, he's the kind of guy who doesn't have to do a lot, and then all of a sudden he just, oh my goodness, he just did that, and then it blows the the doors off of a game. So changes things. So he doesn't have to be a Sabalab Janise running up and down the field going crazy, sweating his balls off. So, but Moranchuk, he's just a little bit here and there, unlock a game. Don't have to have a lot of pomp and circumstance around it. So I don't know. It's just you want the flashiness of like a great DP number 10, but I mean, if he gets the job done, my only concern is he was being dispossessed a little too easily last game a couple of times. So hopefully he can shore that up. But
right, yeah, there was a bit of that. Him losing the ball, kind of unforced errors as well. But yeah, hopefully he does kind of show up for the occasion, which I think a lot of the players on this team they are occasion people. They're here to party. That's for sure. It's if it's not a party, they're not showing up. So, yeah. So okay, let's get into the wings then. Obviously, Saba is on one of these wings, but if you guys have Lennon on that wing, then I think that's Drew, Gavin. Was it Nick too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Mike, did you have Lennon starting at right wing, or was it at?
Yeah, I said like we can run it back until it breaks.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, since I'm the only person that does not think Lennon will start on the right wing, which I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be Wolf. He'll give that energy. He'll pretty much as well be another player to essentially help mark Lionel Messi. He has been favored, I think, a little bit more for the defensive aspects of his game at times, and so yeah, hopefully he can give that energy and support Pedro Amador in double marking Lionel Messi. But as well, give him one chance in the goal or in and around the box. I think he might be able to find the back of the net. So at the very least,
he's done it once this season.
He's done it once this season, and so if we can get him closer to the and Moranchuk Wolf was that combination. Hopefully it can play out that way again. But I think this is what might be the most interesting for me anyway. Who starts up top? Because, well, okay, I won't tip my hand. But who wants Tiare to start, or who wants Rios to start? So Rios to start. Who's raising their hand? No one. Okay. All right.
Not for game one. Not for game one.
Yeah. Okay. So TRA for everybody. Who wants to kind of go into why?
Okay. Well, I'll just say I don't think I care which one starts. Because I think there's a solid strategy for both. I think that if your idea is to go fast in the beginning, which apparently yours isn't because you want to start Tyler Wolf, but if you want to go fast in the beginning to score, then I think you're going to want to use TRA, but because obviously Rios is like slower than a herd of turtles stampeding through molasses. But like TRA, I think will do that.
Visuals.
But like, so if you're just gonna start off fast, that's your guy. But if you don't want to do that and you want to get energy on later in the match, which is a very valid strategy against a team like this, I think that TRA can absolutely kill them as a sub later on. So I mean, use Rios, tire them down. It's just crazy to me because like Rios, when he comes on as a sub late in the match when you're against tired legs, he still was getting beat by them. So you just
He's
wish.
Not
So
the most
I mean,
fleetest of foot. Yes, we know this.
Yeah. So maybe start Rios because it doesn't matter at that point. He's just gonna do a hold up play anyway, and then put TRA on later where everyone's tired to have even more damage. So like either way, I think there's an argument. So I honestly don't care which one starts.
Yeah. So the ones that are very much for TRA, who has a strong reasoning why TRA should start.
I'll go ahead and go first. I think it's the pace early on. We do well when we get out to a quick start, and with Jamal, he's got the speed. Yeah, his touch isn't the greatest, but if you can use his speed and kind of get on their back line, it gives other players a lot more space to operate. And we do well in working within those little half spaces. If we can get quick chances early on, we can put a lot of pressure on them, and that will be key early on. If we can get a quick goal, they will start to press really hard for a goal. And if that's where we can do what we were doing against Montreal and lock down and kind of weather the storm for a while until we can get another opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
Yeah. We need to score first. Like I said, we need to score first. We need to get it done early. There's a player I think we should start that can get the score first. He scored against him earlier this season. He can do it again. And yeah, his touches may not be perfect, but I don't think that's bad as Rios because Rios, I think he's pretty slow and he doesn't have good footwork. And he's good with headers, but I don't see him as like he's not a perfect shooter. I could see with TRA, but I don't think we have a true striker. But if there's the one for this game to start, it's TRA. If we want to start off the series 1-0, and then we'll see what happens going into game 2, because you could bring him on in the second half in Atlanta, and then just we'll see how game 2 goes. It all depends on how game 1 goes, but it's definitely Jamal TRA. If we want to score first, this is what we need to do. And historically, we're better scoring first, so we need Jamal TRA.
Nick, anything
Definitely
to say?
TRA. Yeah, definitely TRA. He's got to start. The problem with Rios in the Montreal match for me, he kept losing the ball in the last third. He kept turning it over. Stupid, petty turnovers. And I'm like, what is up with him? And TRA is constantly throwing his body forward. I constantly see him going down to the turf in the 6-yard box. I'm like, that's where he needs to be. That he's my guy right there.
Yeah, what I like about him too is he sprints at the goalie like all the time, and it makes the goalie have to just do a hurried pass where you can't really calibrate, and that's just great because obviously we can get the ball back easier that way. So I mean, yeah, just
Absolutely.
that attribute is huge. Where Rios never does that.
Yeah, I mean,
Rios is
Go ahead.
Rios is considering what color to color his hair next instead.
Ooh. But
Sad to say that.
but it is this. Yeah, it's I think rewarding TRA with more starts with good performances that he's had. I think especially not changing the 11 too much, changing maybe just a couple positions is probably the smartest thing, as well as rewarding the team that got out to a 2-0 lead. But it is very much the case that the game state matters too. So I could see Rio starting up top, where maybe in that mid block that we would be playing. I mean, it allows us to be able to have that target forward for us to be able to play the others into the match, where we might need to at least get a foothold in this match. Because we can try to send it long all night, but what if they decide to just essentially kind of squash that space and essentially make it more difficult for us to play over the top by sitting back a little bit. Like what if Tata Martino learns like he did versus New York Red Bulls? What if that happens? Well, then we're gonna be in kind of a very awkward spot where we're gonna have to possess the ball, where we very well could lose the ball. Even though, yes, 45 passes to the first goal, but how many of those are we scoring a season? It's not been a lot. Like, we're not the most adept team at keeping the ball right now without making a mistake, a fatal mistake that gets us scored on. We get those type of goals almost every match, it seems like, lately anyway. So it's gonna be tough. It's a big call from Rob Valentino. I mean, yeah, the CF Montreal, that was a very big call to start 2 right backs, but this match, so much pressure. I don't envy it. I mean, but it is to another degree. Maybe he also has 0 pressure because 8th seed, lowest seed in the playoffs, going up against Lionel Messi, like we mentioned in the live stream. This is just house money at this point, possibly for Rob Valentino as well. But that's enough, I think, of the starting 11. That gets us to the score prediction, and we'll go kind of round robin. Nick, Drew, Gavin, Mike, with your score predictions. So, Nick, go ahead.
Oh boy, I have to be first.
On the spot.
It could potentially be a ping pong affair with Inter Miami's last match. They sub Messi on. He went and got himself a hat trick. 6-2 final. They're riding high. Supporter Shield winner. They're playing in front of their home crowd. There's going to be energy there, and we're just going to waltz right in and just quash them. I predict we're going to win 3-2.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
Like that.
Who's gonna score for us? You don't have to say all 3 goals, just one person. But yeah.
One person, I expect Saba to lay the smack down.
Ooh.
I mean, he did it. He did it in the September match. He has their number. He scored in both matches we played them this year.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody has their number, it's Saba.
I did.
So look for Saba.
I like it. I like it. Drew.
I have us winning 4-2.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think we give up we let them get back into the match. We jump on them early, but they get back into the match, but we are able to kill them off late into the game.
Okay. I mean,
So does the 4-2 flatter them, or how does that come about?
I don't know. I haven't thought of that, but I think it's more of we regain control. That's more what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Gavin, I see you pained trying to think of what you're gonna say. What do you got?
Yeah,
Man?
I'm the one that's gonna get booed here. I'm going with more. I'm not saying you guys are going with your hearts. I'm going with my head more than my heart, and I hate to go against it, but I am going with Nick's prediction 3-2, but Miami wins. We need to remember, lots of people are going back to the game against New England where they scored 6 goals. You need to remember, New England's not good. They're not good. Yes, they scored 6 goals, but New England's not good. And Miami's defense is not good either. And they scored 2 goals against Miami. But I have us losing 3-2. I can see Saba being one of the goal scorers and probably in all games of the series, possibly. I think it's a game where I don't see us scoring like first 3 times in a row. I just don't see that. I mean, I pray I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also that I see Drew said 4 goals, Nick said 3 goals. I don't specifically 4. I don't see us scoring that many goals in a game 1, but I can see us probably scoring 2 because Miami's defense is not good. But I could see this as they score first, they score again. I could see like off the run of play for the first goal, maybe a penalty for the second goal. It's 2-0 at the half. I think we put one back with Saba. I don't know. It's either they score or we score, but I just know that they're going to come on top for game 1.
Okay. Mike?
So, I said I was going to do Stone Cold beers if we won the last game. And I was predicting I kind of predicted the last several like Miami game results too. And I want to continue that trend. And I'll offer up my wager soul for this. And I'll say I'll do
and your kidneys.
the Stone Cold beers again, as well as a shot of vodka immediately afterwards. So if
Get the transplant ready.
apparently that's what it takes for the juju to work. So I'll put that on the line. That'll be my wager. So tomorrow night, join us in the Discord for after the game and on YouTube to watch the live stream. And if we've won, that's what you'll see me do. And it'll be, I believe, 3-2. And I think we'll see a goal from Miyamba, who will start as the 8.
Doubling down on your predictions. Okay. I like it. And
Moranchuk and Saba.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, you're on the record, man. All 3 goals, starting 11. Okay, we shall see. But yeah, for me, you guys are all gonna hate me. How am I the most pragmatic here with 3 goals that I am predicting in this match? You guys all have like 5 or more goals. It's insane. But maybe you guys are insane in a good way. I don't know. But unfortunately, I think it's a 2-1 loss. And for these reasons. Because I think it's going to be a little bit more of a chess match. I think we're going to be feeling each other out. Second half is where all the goals are going to come. It's going to be, unfortunately, Inter Miami scoring first. And as we know, when they score first, it usually doesn't bode the best for us. I, of course, am hoping none of this happens. But the head right now is just really outweighing, the rest, which, with the size of my head, yes, that is probably the case. It's, yeah, I have a big noggin. I know this. It's a balloon with a string. So, but anyway, the I think it's also this. It's, I think we can level it, but Lionel Messi is inevitable, and yeah, I just can't bet against it. My heart wants it something else, and if I was betting with my heart, yeah, I mean, I think anybody should really bet on Atlanta United for this match. If you're a betting person, make that money, because it very well could happen. But
also, the whole league wants us to win.
Exactly.
Like, everyone wants us to win.
Definitely.
Everyone. We have all the spirit bomb power coming to us this game.
Oh yeah.
Like, everyone is backing up.
So, hopefully it does change the juju into just something incredible and magical, and it will make it just an insane season that we could have never predicted. But we'll see. But what do you guys think? Let us know in those comments below. But yeah, before we get to the question of the day, massive shouts out to Nick, Drew, Gavin for joining us. If you want to join in on this type of thing, you can join us in the highest level tiers of Patreon and join in on the fun. But okay, that pretty much is the episode there and there, except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, what are your personal chances that you're giving Atlanta United for winning this playoff series versus Inter Miami? I know it's 14.3% for, Bet365, but what chances do you guys give? Let us know in those comments below. But guys, that is the episode there and there. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I've been AJ. That's been Nick, Drew, Gavin, Mike. We will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.